So the green light flashes at the end of the pre-grid. Zana Shriblak won the earlier heat from provisional results. But let's have a look at your starting grid for race 15, DD2, heat 2. Patrick Snows Lokmelis and Kasper Bielecki are on the front row. Zana Shriblak and Glenn Van Parijs, that is row 2. David Maslakovic and Mika Metz, that is row number 3. Row 4, it's a duo of Danes, Lasse Andresen and Christopher Zachse. Josh Price and Lucas Thompson, row number 5, and thereby completing the top 10. Kylian Gerhardt and Jordi Clerbeau, that is row number 6. Max Fleischmann and Florian Breitenbach, row number 7. Matthias Lund and Karl Borgard, that is row number 8. Maxim Dirix and Hannes Bode round out the top 18 positions, and completing the top 20 is Robert Chopian and Andreas Birkbach. Then it's Jule Jungdahl, Jaro Deckers, Lauren Seifried, Fabian Bock, Charlie Anderson, Martin van Leuven, and we've got Dennis Thiem, Mario Saban, Aymeric Gerhardt and Hannes Morin. So I know for a fact that Hannes Morin will want to end up getting past turn 4 on lap number 1. So well, funny enough, it's quite interesting because it's a very different dynamic. Hannes Morin has qualified for the grand finals through Project E20. And I know, I hope, I wonder if there's a certain particular renegade in the audience here this weekend. Ella Spiezia, I think I know you're here. I know you're watching, actually at the track, rather than watching a live stream for a change. Hannes Morin actually qualified for the e-kart Grand Finals, Project T20 at Wackersdorf, a couple of months ago. And he's running here in DD2. Imagine that, a driver qualifying for the Grand Finals for 2 separate classes. I don't know if that's ever been done. I'm sure that Jen Wade might be able to inform me on that, but the jury's out on that one because we've still got a few more races to go. We've got this and another heat and then the finals tomorrow for these drivers. But it's Lokmelis and Bielecki on the front row. Shriblak, Van Parijs on row 2. Maslakovic, Metz, Andresen, Zachse, Price and Thompson. That is your top 10 drivers out of 30. About to go into battle. 10 minutes on the clock plus an additional lap. Red lights on the starting gantry. So into the tram lines, revs rise. Are we ready? We are lights out and racing. And let's see who gets a really good start at the moment. And it is Lokmelis. Shriblak trying to go up the inside of Bielecki going into turn 2 for the first time. Who's going to come out of turn 3 first? It is Lokmelis by the nails on his fingers. Lokmelis keeps ahead of Bielecki. And who is in third? That is Van Parijs that is in third at the moment. And he's got past Shriblak. You can just see it's 2 by 2 hurrah at the back end of the field. And it's getting a bit close for comfort through turn 7. Hopefully all the drivers made it through relatively unscathed after that one. And, right, Dennis Thiem is one of the drivers. And the Door Motorsport driver has pulled to the right-hand side. His race is unfortunately done. And as the song says, push the tempo. That's what these drivers are doing right here, right now. As Bielecki forces his way up the inside of Lokmelis, and Van Parijs and Shriblak get through at the same point on the circuit. So Lokmelis from first to fourth through turn 2 at the snap of her fingers. Shriblak up the inside. And that's not going to help anybody at all because a little bit of sparks flying from the undercarriage of the chassis from Van Parijs. And Shriblak went up the inside of him. Well, it was like Shriblak trying to go up the inside of Lokmelis and then up the inside of Bielecki. Van Parijs had nowhere to go, and with them is now coming Lasse Andreasen. Mika Metz is there. Josh Price, I think, is closing. He's going to be a couple of places behind the German driver. 8 minutes and 10 seconds still to go. And sideways through turn 12. That was Germany's Hannes Bode in the 468. But the train is starting to happen again. And oh, Bielecki got it all wrong through turn 3. Van Parijs got through. And now Shriblack hits the front once more. Matthias Lund being hung out to dry, sparks flying from the undercarriage of his chassis now. Going through onto the curbs is all. Little bit of assist from behind. Oh no, Matthias Lund! Matthias Lund forced wide into the barriers, and that brings it onto the circuit. Dramas, and that Marshall on their way to go and pick that up. Matthias Lund had nowhere to go, and one of the foam barriers went out onto the racing line through into the entrance of turn 8. Yellow flags are out off of the end of the Europalan. And I thought I'd seen everything so far today. And I think Karting Genk just told me, Alex, you ain't seen nothing yet. And that just happened. 6 minutes and 52 seconds on the clock, plus an additional lap. And what's more, Shriblack has hit the front. The 401, the 2018 and 2019. Well, it's not him. Kasper Bielecki is leading the way. Shriblack's going to chase him down. Van Parijs rounds out the top 3. Loch Melis going toe-to-toe with Maslakovic. And behind them, they've got Andreasen. Metz is with them. Gerhard, Josh Price rounds out the top 9. Didix from Belgium completes the top 10. No, it's not. It's Lucas Thompson. Now, I did see that when Matthias Lund went through the barriers, I think it might have been Didix that had that issue. Just keeping an eye. No, Didix is in 10th place. So that could have been one of the other Sheepers Racing carts. As there is Robert Chopin closing in on Lucas Thompson. Judging by Chopin, Chopin is actually... it was Martin van Leuven. Martin van Leuven from the Netherlands. As there goes Florian Breitenbach. That was up the inside through turn 7. One of the most audacious moves I've seen actually around the outside of anybody at turn 7 is Zana Shriblack. Around the outside of Sebastian de Grande a few months ago. But that was actually last year when Zana was still with Buvin Power. So Bielecki leads from Shriblack. Van Parijs has the fastest lap of the race. And he's done it again, 54.339. Loch Melis under braking, the right rear wheel goes up into the air. And he's battling away with Maslakovic. They've got Andreasen behind. Mika Metz in 7th. Josh Price in 8th. Kilian Gerhard and Maxim Didix as Shriblack. What on earth has happened to Shriblack? Has he had a moment? Or is there an issue? That's the biggest question I've got right now. And Zander Shriblack is struggling. He's dropped places. He was 2nd. And now it's Van Parijs that is leading the battle for 2nd position. Shriblack was the winner in the first heat. Now he's on the fringes of the top 10. And it looks like Florian Breitenbach has pulled it into the pits. And there has been damage sustained. Right rear bumper has come adrift. And that would have been straight away a mechanical black flag from the 433 from Nies Racing. And Shriblack finds himself in muddy water right about now because he's currently in 9th position. And Maxim Didix was right up his back bumper. Lasse Andreasen looking to get past David Maslakovic. And that's for 4th place. And Andreasen nearly got caught out. The front right of his bumper nearly got tagged. There's Josh Price trying to thread the eye of the needle. He was looking to the outside of Mika Metz going through turn 10. And Josh Price will probably know a little bit better than that, but if he can get a good run of momentum, he's got a good slipstream. Mika Metz side by side with Andreasen. And as Price got through as well, he's going to get through right now. Andreasen gets through, and there is Kilian Gerhard. Lasse Andreasen drops 3 places through turn 3, through turn 2 into T3, courtesy of Lasse Andreasen, Mika Metz, and the UK's Josh Price. Still 3 minutes to go, And I don't think anyone's fingernails are bitten to the quick quite yet. So Van Leuven, Team and Breitenbach all out of the race. We're down to 27 drivers, rounded up by Ljungdahl from Sweden in the 4:43. 2 minutes and 43 seconds. Bielecki leads the way. Van Parijs in second place, and Van Parijs has put in another fastest lap. He's done that for the last 4 laps on the trot, and Bielecki could find out that Van Parijs will be on his back bumper quicker than he can say the word jump. So 2 minutes and 20 still to go. This battle here for third place between Nols, Lokmelis, Maslakovic, Metz and Price is really kicking off. It's been kicked off right into the stratosphere like a SpaceX flight. And realistically, who knows how this one is going to unfold? Because the drivers, as I said earlier, they're going to have to do a bit of damage limitation. If you're at the front of the field, you are going to be comfortable. Unless someone's chasing you down, and there is a disappointed Florian Breitenbach waiting, just looking at the sidelines. And Van Parijs was nearly 2.5 tenths of a second quicker than Kasper Bielecki, but we concentrate on the battle for P3. Lokmelis, Maslakovic, Metz and Price, all intertwined, all interlocked into gladiatorial combat, and Mika Metz up the inside of Maslakovic through turn 6. Maslakovic has lost momentum. Could Price get past him? Maslakovic goes defensive. Price to the outside to get the cut through. Will Price get through on turn 8? It depends on how wide that cart, the 4.45 of Maslakovic, ends up going through turn number 8, but it doesn't quite happen. As Mika Metz now gets past Lokmelis, the German RMC champion, now up into a genuine third place. And we have less than 50 seconds to go. Mika Metz definitely pushed the limits on that one because he was sidewall to sidewall with the Latvian. Anyone got the defibrillator on standby? Because I'm damn sure you're going to need it right about now, because we've got 30 seconds on the clock to go, and the 481 of Fabian Bach out of the race, also with a flailing bumper. And that's Maxim Dirks, and there's Lasse Andreasen. And that could have been Kilian Garin with us just up ahead. And there is Josh Price still trying to get past David Maslakovic, as the time is fast about to expire here in this second out of 3 heats. And Fabian Bach, well, that's definitely not a case of that'll polish out, I'm afraid. Final lap board is out for the leaders. Kasper Bielecki leads Glenn Van Parijs by just over 2.5 tenths. Mika Metz and Van Parijs is actually with. There we go, battle for the lead, well and truly on Van Parijs, right with Bielecki. And Van Parijs knew that if he was about 1/4 of a second behind, he'd have a good run and try and close in on him and round towards the outside. Can he get the switch back? Through into turn 8 they go to the leaders. I think really Van Parijs could have his best chance coming out of the final corner. If he hooks it up here through turns 10 and 11, he's got a shot at Bielecki. And Van Parijs looking to the outside, keeping Bielecki guessing. Goes to the inside, round towards turn 12. Bielecki on the defensive. Will Van Parijs get the cut through? He goes on the inside, sparks fly, but Bielecki holds on to win by just, what was that, 2 tenths of a second. Oh my giddy aunt. What a climactic finish to that race. Kasper Bielecki wins by 2 tenths by Glenn Van Parijs, who tried to put it on the inside of turn 12 on the final lap of the race. Sparks flying from the chassis, and it wasn't enough. And Kasper Bielecki wins DD2, Heat 2, here at the Euro Golden Trophy at Karting Genk by 0.208 seconds. Ahead of Glenn Van Parijs from Belgium. Mika Metz from Germany rounds out the top 3. So let's have a look at the rest of the results. David Maslakovic holds on ahead of Josh Price as Patrick Snows-Lockmelis unfortunately ends up 6th ahead of Lassie Andresen, Maxime Dirix, Clean Gerhard and Max Fleischmann rounding out the top 10. Lucas Thompson, Zonner Schriblak, Matthias Lund, Jordi Klibbel, Karl Borgard, Hannes Borde, Lawrence Seyfried, Andreas Birkbach, Robert Chopian and Charlie Anderson ran out the top 20 ahead of Jaro Dekkers, Christopher Zachse, Amerik Gerhard, Mario Saban and Jule Jungdahl was the last of the classified finishers. Retirements from from Fabian Bock, Hannes Morin, Florian Breitenbach, Martin van Leuven and Dennis Thiem.